A sight for sore eyes on the Saints practice field today. Half of their starting secondary was back on the field. Cornerback Keenan Lewis and safety Kenny Vaccaro worked out for the first time in nearly a week. Both guys missed Saturday night's preseason game. That leaves Brandon Browner and Jairus Byrd as still being MIA. I should also mention that David Hawthorne and Nick Toon set out today's practice as well. Toon's injury, reportedly an ankle sprain, could keep him out of action for 2 to 3 weeks. We did get at least one question answered last night, though. The loss of Jimmy Graham's offensive production will be made up in large part by Brandon Cooks, who's now considered Drew Brees' #1 target. Here's Garland Gillen.
With no Jimmy Graham in the lineup anymore, some new targets need to step up for Drew Brees in 2015. In only 2 preseason contests, Brandon Cooks looks like one of those top options for #9. He can beat you on the quick hitter or the deep ball.
Brees half rollout, stands in the pocket, wants it all. He's got a receiver down around the goal line, in stride. It is Brandon.
That's my game, and I have to prove to the coaches that I can do that, prove to the team that I can do that, and by doing that, you just got to go out and do it. So you know, those are a couple of examples, but we just got to continue. I have to continue to work at that and continue to build, because it's just the start right now.
Cooks, he's coming along. He's I mean, he obviously can do a lot of great things, and I think the complement of all the guys that we have, you know, it makes it, you know, we like to think we're giving defenses a lot to worry about.
Benjamin Watson only registered 136 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns in 2014. With Jimmy Graham out of the tight end mix, expect those numbers to rise greatly in 2015.
He's as complete a tight end as there is. I mean, really, you know, he's a guy who obviously, when we had Jimmy last year, and you know, the complement of Ben was awesome, because Ben could do so many things, and yet, you know, Ben played kind of a different role because Jimmy was really the feature in a lot of ways in the passing game, and now Ben has the opportunity to, you know, kind of show, you know, all the things that he can do in the passing game, which is a lot. And man, he's extremely effective. He gets open, he catches the ball extremely well. He's very intelligent, very smart, very consistent. He does all the other things well. I mean, tight end position is one of the hardest ones to play in football. It requires the toughest, smartest guys.
I think the later you get in your career, the more you want to win football games, because you realize that you only have a certain amount of time left. And if that's me, you know, catching 600 yards or 500 yards, great. I love it. You know, if it's me serving in different areas, or I want to be on the field, obviously. Every player wants to be on the field. Every player wants to have their number called. But ultimately, we want to be able to work together to win games.
With the Saints, Garland Gillen, Fox 8 Sports.
And if you want to relive more of the excitement from Saturday's impressive showing by that first team, head over to fox8live.com to view our slideshow of all the best action from the Saints and the Patriots. Keeping with the receiver theme, up the road in Baton Rouge, 14th ranked LSU got a future pro leading its pass-catching core. Malachi Dupree prepped at John Curtis, now a sophomore with the Tigers, and being hailed as a kid that's primed to have a breakout season in purple and gold. If only the Tigers can get their quarterback situation solved, Dupree can be the starter's best friend. And he leads a talented group of receivers that can make the Tigers a threat on the flanks if the QB can get them the ball.
Last year as a freshman, you don't really know much about anything, so it's just a learning process. But now that I know how everything needs to work and how everything is going to work, I know how versatile the receiver group is from top to bottom, and I feel like we're very versatile, but having Coach Ball come in in the springtime, he's taught us to work on specific things that may not have been our strength, and it is allowing us to become more versatile. But I feel like we have a receiver that can do anything, and then receivers that can do multiple things well. And I'm just looking forward to see it so people can see it.
He's such a good player. Much more football talk coming right up on the final play. An in-depth recap of the Saints' second preseason game. A full feature on that kid we just talked about, New Orleanian Malachi Dupree, and his role for the Tigers in 2015. And with Tulane starting school on Monday, hear how Curtis Johnson feels about his team at the end of fall camp, which ended on Saturday. That's on the final play, coming your way after our newscast. Real quickly, Zephyrs lose 5-4 to Las Vegas tonight. They've lost 15 in a row. I think they're ready for the season to be over and just kind of regroup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Tonight on the final play.
Lot of time. Deep balls available. So is Brandon Cooks. Touchdown Saints.
The Saints came out of the gates in dominant fashion against the Patriots. We're delving into the strong first-team performance, an impressive rookie, and a bubble player who may be on solid ground after last night. Plus, Malachi Dupree made big play after big play in 2014. See how the John Curtis product is evolving his game. And we'll check in on the conclusion of Tulane's fall camp, as well as the highly competitive world of media football. Touchdown. The Final Play starts right now.
From Fox 8 Sports, this is The Final Play, brought to you by your Southern Quality Ford dealers and Oceana Grill.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome into The Final Play. I'm Juan Kincaid, and we're thinking tonight's show is all about passing the eyeball test. LSU and Tulane, the jury's still out on both, and we'll delve deeper later in the show. As for the Saints, we're thinking it's okay that it took them 2 preseason games to get the fan base believing again. Even in defeat, a lot of good came out of last night's game against the Patriots. Sean Vazan gets us started tonight with a look back.
From inside the 1, Talafero pushing the pile, and he is in for the score.
Improvement was the ultimate goal for the Saints from preseason game number 1 to preseason game number 2. And improvement was reached against the New England Patriots Saturday night inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
I thought we came out emotionally and guys were ready to play and compete.
It began with Drew Brees, who saw his first action of the preseason and was magnificent.
Here's Brees throwing at the goal line, touchdown. Beautiful strike.
Brees took 20 snaps in the game and was 8 for 10 with 159 yards and 2 touchdowns. Before the game, ESPN reported Brees spent the offseason correcting his throwing mechanics from his oblique injury last training camp. After the game, Brees acknowledged his health.
I feel as good throwing the ball as I felt in a long time. And, I mean, everybody kind of deals with issues throughout the season. You know, I had that injury in the preseason, the oblique, and then I had something during the season too that I was battling, and so I think at times, you know, maybe I kind of got away from, you know, my fundamentals and mechanics as I was kind of trying to survive at times.
And when Brees was throwing it, it was usually Brandon Cooks catching it, at least when it came to the big plays. He finished with 4 catches for 117 yards and 1 touchdown. That was simply a thing of beauty.
45 yards as Brees looks for Cooks and connects.
Missing games like that, this offseason was definitely a hard offseason. Just worked my tail off to come back and be able to shock the world.
There's certain players that all of a sudden, you know, can gain a lot of confidence just in a game or in a practice or in a half. And I think we're seeing his growth like right now. And, you know, I think he played real well tonight.
The first team defense was equally up to the challenge. Tom Brady played all of 9 snaps. Those snaps resulted in 3 3-and-outs. And that was with their first team secondary out with injury.
That's definitely beneficial towards our D-line and towards the defense as a whole, especially with knowing that, you know, we still have Kenny out, Juris out, BB out, Keenan out, Bro out. I keep on going, apparently, but guys stepped up, made some great plays, and that being said, I think our defense is headed in the right direction.
But not everything went right. They lost the game 26-24 after taking a commanding 21-0 lead. The Saints tried 3 two-point conversions and missed all 3. Plus, Coach Sean Payton didn't seem too enamored with the pace of play of his 2 young quarterbacks, Ryan Griffin and Garrett Grayson.
Not as well as we'd like, you know. You probably asked that question because you see me screaming while we're on offense. So that would be, I think we need to be quicker.
But all in all, the feel leaving their second preseason game was much better than the one leaving their first one.
You want to have a good taste in your mouth. You want to win the games. But there's elements to the game that you're wanting to see throughout, not just in the first half. But I was pleased early on emotionally with how our guys came out.
We just heard him. Now we bring him inside with Sean Vazan. This football team played well for the first quarter last night. Drew Brees, 8 of 10, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. You almost forget he had that oblique injury last year, but maybe that's a reminder of how good he can be when he's healthy.
No doubt about it, and he brought up that oblique injury in his press conference afterwards, and I think that was huge. It goes to show you that something was indeed wrong with Drew Brees last year, and we forget, Juan, just how good of a camp he has had so far. Last night was really just carrying over the camp he's had. He's had over 100 pass attempts. He has yet to throw an interception. Last night, he looked phenomenal. He looked about as sharp as we've ever seen him, and it's interesting that oblique injury because it was kind of treated as minor last year. It turns out it was a lot more serious than we thought.
Oh, Saints fans, I can hear it all summer long. Let's get rid of Drew Brees because of the salary. Forget about that. But maybe he's motivated by Tom Brady a little bit. They practiced the last 2 days together at the Greenbrier, and Brees looked sharp then. It carried over.
Brees did look sharp.
Brady did not.
Brady did not in those first couple practices. Tom Brady always brings the best out of Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a competitive guy. You know, he's always kind of in that elite class of Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and, of course, Drew Brees. It always brings the best out of him. I also think, maybe he won't say this out loud, but I also think the presence of Garrett Grayson motivates him as well. Plus, look, he hears stuff. He knows. I mean, there's a lot of fans clamoring for him to take the pay cut and all that sort of stuff. So I think Drew Brees is just a motivated player in general right now.
He has another year on his contract. He's actually playing for additional years right now, Sean. What do you think is the most encouraging thing you saw from last night's game?
I liked both lines, the first team, offensive and defensive line. I thought the offensive line protected Drew Brees well. They got out on those run blocks as well. I thought that offensive line was really stout, really bounced back from that first week. The defensive line got a lot of they were just very active, and that was just different than from game one. So I thought the offensive and defensive lines, the first team, both played well.
I thought Kevin Williams and Kikaha had fantastic games last night. My concern is that we're now 2 games into the preseason, not 1 sack for this football team. That's the concern for me right now with this defense.
I think it's a fair concern because, quite frankly, they paid a lot of money to Cam Jordan to get a lot of sacks. He hasn't got one yet in a game. We saw a lot in that practice against the Patriots a couple days ago. But I think it is a concern. You heard Coach Payton talk about it afterwards. So the pass rush has got to pick itself up. But I thought the line and really the front 7 overall had a pretty good night last night.
So we're getting closer to the first cuts. They're not too far off. So we're talking about a football team that's got a lot of players battling for a lot of position. Which player helped themselves the most towards making this roster first?
I'm going to throw a curveball at you here because I haven't had him on my radar to make this roster pretty much all off season, but I thought for the first time he showed up last night. And that is cornerback Kyle Wilson. He got some snaps in at that nickel cornerback position, had 4 tackles, a couple of pass defense. At that cornerback position, it's tricky because you probably can only keep 6 cornerbacks, and right now he's probably about 7 or 8. However, if he keeps performing, and more importantly, if he keeps remaining available, as in healthy, I think he's got a shot possibly to make this roster.
And last night was the time to play well with the secondary because you were missing your entire starting secondary. Which player do you think hurt himself the most?
It's a tough one. I don't think it's anything he did last night. I think with the reported injury to Nick Toon is really going to hurt him. He's reportedly out 2 to 3 weeks with an ankle sprain. He was kind of on the bubble as it was. They're probably going to keep 6 wide receivers, and it's one of the best battles of camp. So Nick Toon is really the player that I thought hurt himself the most, not necessarily with his play, but with that reported injury.
Great pedigree with his dad, played obviously with the Jets and Al Toon, but you got a football player that the Saints love. They love his makeup. They love the fact he's a good locker room guy, but he's on the outside looking in, no doubt about that. So we have 2 preseason games left to go. What do you think the biggest battle continues to be with the Saints?
I think we stay right there, the wide receiver position. I really do. I think you talk about Brandon Cooks, you talk about Marcus Colston, you talk about Brandon Coleman. Now you're talking about a Joe Morgan, a Josh Morgan, a Willie Snead, Nick Toon, Shantavius Jones. That's about 5 names I rattled off. There's probably only 3 spots, and it kind of changes with each game. Right now, you know, I thought Willie Snead had a good game last night. I thought Josh Morgan, despite the fumble, has had a really good week of practice and ran some good routes last night as well. So I think the wide receiver position is really too close to call. We'll see how it all unfolds, but wide receiver is pretty big.
Throw this at you. Were you disappointed in how Brandon Coleman didn't complete that touchdown?
You'd like to see a guy that's 6'6", that can clearly, that's clearly bigger than the guy guarding him, come down with that pass, despite the fact that I think it was Devin McCourty got that hand in at the last second. You'd like to see a guy that big, with that big of hands to come down with that ball. That was a little bit disappointing, but I do think Brandon Coleman will bounce back from that.
Deuce talked last night on our pregame and postgame show. He says it's all about having strong hands, and that's something he'll develop as he goes on here. Last thing, you know, injuries are a part of football, and I can't imagine any team in the NFL that's had more devastating injuries to the football team in training camp than the Saints. Again, last night without the entire training camp starters, basically, the starter for the football team. So which injury concerns you the most as we head into week 3 of the preseason?
I'll keep going back to it. It's Jairus Byrd. I mean, we're talking about 2 weeks ago, there was the, quote, land-based movements where he was out in the hoodie doing the sprints back and forth, and that was considered progress. Well, guess what? We haven't seen him since, and that was only 2 days. We're talking about land-based movements. So, so basically that leads me to believe that he was not on land before that. He was in some sort of whirlpool or whatever, working that knee or whatever the injury is. So the less we know about it, the more we kind of have concerns about it, and he is a $54 million player. So to not have him on the field this late, to me, that's got to be concerning. And until he comes back, We're going to keep talking about it.
And he is a $54 million bust for this football team right now because they can't get him on the field. But it's not very often you find a team that has two legitimate starting safeties. Raphael Bush is a guy that they can fill in back there as well. Sean, thank you very much.
No doubt.
Coming up, Haiole Kikaha was a man on a mission last night from the first snap on. Hear how the flying Hawaiian is establishing himself as more than just a pass rushing specialist. And also, Tulane 11 days away from opening the season, LSU 13. We'll have a preview of each. Welcome back into the show and welcome back into the fold. Kenny Vaccaro and Keenan Lewis, the defensive backfield duo, practiced Sunday after missing the better part of a week due to undisclosed injuries. No word yet on the other injured starters in the secondary, Brandon Browner and Jairus Byrd. You know, our colleague Jim Henderson called him the Polynesian adhesion on draft night. But last night, Hondo found himself repeating the name Haiole Kikaha because the rookie was all over the place. Chad Sabity has more on a guy the Saints are hoping can become a permanent fixture in the team's linebacking core.
On the game's first play from scrimmage, Saints linebacker Haiole Kikaha made a statement, breaking free to stop Patriots running back LeGarrette Blount for a big loss of 5 yards. Then on the very next snap, there was number 45 again making a play for the black and gold.
And it only happened because the rest of the guys were doing their job as well, so it kind of opened it up for me. And when you make plays early, it helps you settle down, as any player would probably tell you.
Certainly, I mean, the first play to start the game, you know, he's able to make a play, a minus yards tackle. But once we have a chance to grade it, it'll be a little easier to comment on, you know, on an individual. But I thought there were certain things that just on field level, you know, you saw. So that's encouraging.
The talented rookie tallied 5 tackles, 2 for negative yards, and registered his team's only quarterback hit, narrowly missing a sack.
He makes plays, man. He's a great player, and he has some chances to make some plays, and he made them.
Every day, like I said, we're striving to get better. Kika is clearly headed in the direction that the team wants him to. He did great tonight. And, you know, we still have Edebali, who still can be a dominant sandback for us. We got a lot of young guys on our defense, and, you know, at this time, I'm getting pretty excited about where we're headed.
Kikaha's production from game 1 to last night was noticeable, but the same can be said for his comfort level.
Kind of got broken in a little bit last week, so felt a little more comfortable and got to just focus on making plays and doing my job.
Kikaha led the NCAA with 19 sacks last year, but the Saints have yet to record 1 in now 2 preseason games. The rookie says he's still learning, but he does know that getting to the quarterback takes a collective team effort from the entire defense, and that will improve. I also asked him about his first home game here in New Orleans inside the Superdome. He said the atmosphere was great. He really enjoyed hearing the crowd go wild on that first Who Dat chant. Reporting for the Final Play, I'm Chad Sabity.
The biggest adjustment the Saints had to make last night came on defense. All 4 defensive backs were out with injury, and that meant one-time starting safety Raphael Bush had a bunch of inexperienced guys around him. But Bush just continued to play the way he's always played in camp, with poise. Sean Vazant caught up with number 25 after last night's game.
Here now with Saints safety Raphael Bush. And Raphael, I guess if improvement was the goal, would it be fair to say improvement was reached tonight?
I think we did a pretty good job in all phases of the game. I think we came out, we matched their intensity, and we created some turnovers, and we was flying around today.
Was it a focus going into this game? Because last week things started off kind of sluggish to kind of get off to a good start.
Well, you always want to make corrections from last week, and I think we did those things. So I think our focus was there. I think our intensity was there. We were into the game, and I think as a whole we did a good job.
Tom Brady got 9 snaps, and that it resulted in 3 punts. I mean, it's got to feel good.
I mean, it's a starting point. I feel like we still have a long way to go, but that's always good when you can have a Hall of Fame quarterback go 3 and outs like that. So we'll take that.
What do you think this defense is right now in there's growth and development?
Like I said, I still think we have a long way to go. You know, we got some key guys that's out right now, but I like the way the young guys are playing. You know, they're coming in, they're making plays, and they're stepping up, so I'm excited.
Coming up, we switch gears to the NCAA. LSU's Malachi Dupree went from 5-star prospect to 5-touchdown freshman. Hear how this Tiger's evolving into a 5-tool receiving threat. Up in the state capitol, it's just an understood. As the quarterbacks go, so too does LSU this season. The good news is the Tigers' receiving options are as solid as can be, led by a former John Curtis Patriot. Once again, Chad Sabity from Baton Rouge.
Oh, look at this. Here comes Dupree. He's got plenty of daylight.
The jump from high school to college ball is always challenging, while the transition from year one to year two at the next level can bring plenty of expectation. LSU's Malachi Dupree could post a breakout sophomore season, learning from the ups and downs of his debut campaign and new position coach Tony Ball.
Definitely with some shocks. I played against a lot of good cornerbacks in the SEC last year, which for myself was my freshman season, didn't know what to expect. So every game brought a new experience for me. I'm just taking that and running with it and learning from last season. So this year, it's not going to be any surprises. Having a guy like Coach Ball prepares us daily for everything.
The former John Curtis standout did not record a catch in 2 of his first 3 games with the Tigers, but he finished second on the team with 318 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. Now with his freshman year in the rearview mirror and Dupree bigger and stronger, he's excited about his team's potential.
I feel like I'm more physically prepared than I was last year. 100% more. And it goes back to learning from what I did last year to now. I know how to beat guys, and I know a lot of different techniques that Coach Ball has taught me. So the game doesn't even have to be as physical, it's my job to run away from defenders, not get hit by them, and it's the same as running a route. You try and eliminate contact as much as possible, and that's what we've been emphasizing as a receiver group.
And whether it's spread out wide near a sideline or bunched inside in the slot, Dupree's versatility has also grown.
I'm working both inside and out, and it's very fun to get to work against linebackers and safeties. Just a change up because they can't cover as well as cornerbacks. And I definitely feel like as an offense, they can utilize me in the slot, and I can make big plays for us. Last year as a freshman, you don't really know much about anything, so it's just a learning process. But now that I know how everything needs to work and how everything is going to work, I know how versatile the receiver group is from top to bottom, and I feel like we're very versatile. But having Coach Ball come in in the springtime, he's taught us to work on specific things that may not have been our strength, and it is allowing us to become more versatile. But I feel like we have a receiver that can do anything, and then receivers that can do multiple things well. And I'm just looking forward to see it so people can see it.
Reporting for The Final Play, I'm Chad Sabity.
Thank you very much, Chad. Meanwhile, Uptown, Tulane's in hurry-up mode. Hard to believe the Greenies kick off the season Uptown in 11 days. Duke on September 3rd, followed by another ACC foe in Georgia Tech the following week. It's quite the challenge for a team that's hoping to bounce back from last year's 3-9 record. But so far, head coach Curtis Johnson has been pleased with his young team. They wrapped up fall camp on Saturday with an 80-play scrimmage, and starting quarterback Tanner Lee was sharp. 77% of his throws were completions. Johnson said now it's time to turn the page to their season opener.
I think we still got to work on some stuff, but we got everything that we wanted to. We got everything done. We look like we got all the problems solved for the most part. Now we just got to play somebody else. We got to do something, focus in on Duke. Duke is a really great team. ACC, played for the conference championship a couple years ago, perennial bowl team. So, we got a tough team coming in here, and, we just need the fan support to support us and come help us try to win this game.
Again, we're now just a week and a half away from college football kicking off with Tulane leading the charge again September 3rd against Duke. They're at home on a Thursday night. Southeastern also plays that evening on the road at Northwestern State. LSU, the Tigers, and Baton Rouge taking on McNeese State on September 5th in Tiger Stadium. While UL Lafayette travels to Kentucky. A week later, though, Nicholls State gets their season underway on the road at UL Monroe. Coming up, Fox 8's extensive coverage on the preseason extended to a media game as we shut down the opposition's passing game.
He's gone! He is gone!
Some real candid outtakes from a fun outing when we come back with Final Play.
Touchdown, Garland.
You're watching The Final Play.
Training camp is a grind, not just for the players and coaches, but the media assigned to follow the Saints' every move. It's exhausting, and sometimes you just need to get away. Problem is, at the Greenbrier, we found out it's almost impossible to just get away from football. We show you now.
We're playing 10 touchdowns, first wins.
Christian back, looks, throws deep. He goes deep. Oh, and it's in.
intercepted. Juan, how bad was that throw?
It was perfect, right in my breadbasket. Wonderful.
Oh, touchdown, Kincaid.
Going down the seam with Garland. Down the seam with Garland. On 2. Go. There he is. Look at it. Right down the seam. We told you what was coming. Down the seam, we told you we delivered.
I just want to offer Zach Streep up there $50 to come down here and help our team. $55 and like a Wendy's coupon.
Touchdown.
We called it. Heard it here first, folks. Touchdown, Garland. That's 6-0 for TV. Christian drops back. He's got all deep. They're all going deep. Christian goes. And it's picked off. It's picked off by Walker again. And he falls. Another interception. Third on the day by Juan Kincaid.
You know, not everyone can go out there and be a shutdown corner, you know, and kind of take everyone out of the game. What was the island? Kincaid Island? I mean, that's a rare athlete. That's not the normal. That's not the norm. That's the Bo Jackson. That's the exception to the rule.
Down 9-0. Heart of a Lion Christian. He's being blitzed. Go, go. And it's picked, and the game is over. 10-0 TV Media.
Of course, you know Fox 8 is your home for the Saints preseason, and we'll be back a week from today for the Saints and Texans. Our coverage starts at 2 p.m. on Fox 8 with live tailgate, leading you up to kickoff at 3, and all of the post-game reaction and analysis you can ask for on the final play at 10:30. Greenbrier workouts are done. Saints will take Monday off and resume training camp on Airline Drive on Tuesday. It all begins at 8:50 in the morning, and Saints fans, you are invited to come out for the final week of camp. But if you can't make it, of course, Fox 8 will have you all covered. For all of us here at Fox 8, I'm Juan Kincaid. Have a great night. We'll see you next Sunday night on The Final Play.
The Final Play was brought to you by Southern Quality Ford Dealers and Oceana Grill.